Do not be a chicken. So what should you be? That is the lesson in this week's video from me, Frederick Heron, the Creativity Explorer. And today I just want to do a slightly different video. It's just an insight that I had when I was out running this morning, and I happened to see two birds that got me thinking about how I look at my own creative process and how I think a lot of people creative process behaves. So I kind of identified there's three metaphors here for how we approach creativity, or maybe even how we approach life. And the first one that happens to me, and I think happens to a lot of people, is that we behave as chickens. We see this thing and we get excited and we run away, and then we run the other way, and then all this energy going back and forth, but it's not creating a lot of interesting things, and it doesn't provide a lot of respect or productivity or creativity. We should not be chickens. And then we have the ducks. So what are the ducks? Well, the ducks looks much better than the chickens. You know the saying, be like a duck, on the surface be calm and composed, and under the surface paddle like hell. And that is a saying that some people use to say that we should strive to be like ducks. And yes, that is much better than the chicken approach, but I actually think it's a dangerous and not so productive approach in the long run. And the reason is that if we just focus on the top, the looking composed and calm, but under the surface we're paddling like crazy, in the long run we will get burned out, or we will lose our creative spark. You see, creativity doesn't come from when we are the most busy or the most running around. It comes at a different in a different situation. So normally I will, I think my metaphor here is that we should be like swans. So this morning I saw these beautiful swans in the Botanic Garden of Singapore, and I was reminded of how every summer for 2 months, except unfortunately this COVID time we're not able to get to Sweden, but normally 2 months per year I live on this island with my family in Sweden, and it is tiny beautiful little paradise, and the island is called Swan Island. And not only is it called Swan Island, on this island a couple of swans for decades. We have had a pair of swans nesting on the island, so which means I've been living very close up to swans for weeks and weeks every year, and I observe them, and they are the perfect symbol for what we should aim for. You see, swans are just as calm and composed on the outside as the ducks, or more so, majestically calm and composed. But then under the surface, unlike the ducks that is paddling like crazy, the swans are just moving their feet like this. They're calm and composed not only on the surface, but their whole demeanor is calm and composed. And they have very, very few predators or animals that will challenge them. And if they do, and that is the key, if they are challenged, then they get super angry. They will raise their wings up, they will hiss, and they will attack to protect what is theirs. And that's the metaphor for me when it comes to swans, that we should be like the swans that are focused on what is important, surfing around, gliding around on the lake, focusing on what is important for them. And then when we need to go to work, we go to work like crazy and we make it happen. That is what I've learned by observing swans for months on my island. And never do I think it's been more important for us to behave as swans than in this unique time we are living in now, this black swan moment. You see, in the Botanic Garden in Singapore, I ran this morning, I ran past 2 white swans, but I also ran past a black swan, and it reminded me of this unprecedented, as they say, times we are in right now. So now that everything seems to be upside down and chaos, and we don't know what is happening, it's never been more important to keep the calm composure of a swan that makes us focus on what is really important and get it done in a swan way. You see, creativity, great creativity, doesn't come when we are running around. Great creativity does not come when we are hyper and stressed. Great creativity comes when we are in a place where the ideas from the subconscious can bubble up inside our heads. And that happens when we are like swans. So that is a lesson today from Frederick Herring, the Creativity Explorer. If you want to be creative, if you want to have a nice approach to life, be inspired by the swan. Be a swan.